Welcome to Candid Conversations. You may want to record today's episode because we're talking about our health, women's health. We have a doctor to go over specific health concerns that face women on a day-to-day basis. And we also have a personal trainer to show us a few exercises to hopefully help us prevent us from getting those diseases and health concerns. But first, here are the usual suspects. You know, Becky Lantry and Gary Brienda.
Hey!
Hello!
We are so excited about the show today. I'm very excited about the show because health and wellness is a very big passion of mine.
We know.
You know, I'm really into
know.
this. I'm into eating well, I'm into having energy, and what better way to come out of a breakup? I mean, that's what I want to tell you.
Really?
You know, we need to channel our energy a lot when we're in pain. I don't know, as women, it's a big thing for me. It's like, if I know I can get on the treadmill, if I know I can take that spin class, or even just as a stress reduction, you know, and just clarity of mind, there's nothing better than a good sweat.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Well.
However,
Yeah.
sometimes going to a spin class is extremely stressful.
Why? Because the music's so loud, it's pumping through your ears, you can't get, yeah, that's true.
It's hard.
I know. And then they just keep going, don't they, Dina?
Yes.
They just keep going. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2,
They're
1.
like
Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up, pump it up, pump.
That's
For 45 minutes straight.
I know it's like it's nothing for them. I'm
Yeah.
huffing and puffing and
Yeah.
sweating, but I
Yeah.
know I have to do it.
Yeah.
I
You don't,
know.
yeah. You know, but you can always, like, you don't have to keep the gear on. You can actually leave it off completely and just stabilize and ride. But it's no fun that way.
No, I can't do those things.
No?
Why
No.
not?
I have 2 herniated bulges.
Oh, you do?
What?
I actually was in an accident and was partially paralyzed on the left side of my body for 2
Really?
years. So I can't do spin
But-
classes.
But
I walk.
you can do all the therapeutic exercises, which a lot of people don't know about, which are very important. Like
Aha.
therapeutic exercises that actually condition. They
Okay.
condition the muscle, they protect the joints.
Okay.
And I think that's a very important topic. So people have to know the entire diverse range of what's possible in the health and wellness world.
And it's,
Therapeutic, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
it's important that we talk about this because on TV, we always hear about
Yeah.
men's problems. We won't go into them, but we all know what their problem is. But so I'm glad that we were talking about what's important for women because
Yeah.
we don't get enough airplay.
No, absolutely. And I think the most significant part is with our guests that we've been having is this integration, this idea of mind, body, and spirit, you know, and that what you're eating affects, you know, just the general health of your body, and then that energy, putting it out and exercising and doing activities that affect that. It's just an overhaul comprehensive, and meditation, of course.
Right.
And so while you're exercising, to not be diverted or thinking about work and, you know, your problems, but actually letting your body release all that stress.
Okay.
It's very important.
And I'm glad that's what we're focusing on, us, women. So don't go away. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Riding a bicycle can seem like child's play.
But only if you're playing indoors.
Riding in the real street has real consequences.
Play it safe. Ride by the rules. Cars and bikes need to play together.
Joining us is OBGYN Dr. Carol Kurz from Kaiser Permanente Woodland Hills. Dr. Kurz, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome.
Hi.
We're really thrilled. As you know, we're talking about women's health, and I've read and learned that heart disease is the #1 killer of women. What is
right.
heart disease?
There's all different types of heart disease, but I think the one you're talking about is coronary artery disease, which is the #1 killer of women. There's many risk factors. The most common ones, there's 2 that you can't really control. One is age and one is family history. Those are not really in our control, but the 3 that are preventing diabetes, high cholesterol, and smoking. So if we were going to focus on those 3, we would really cut down on mortality and morbidity of heart disease.
I had no idea. I thought it had to do with stress or high blood pressure.
Those are risk factors. Those aren't independent risk factors. Those contribute obviously in a negative way, but they're not considered independent risk factors
So
for,
they're
for heart
underlying.
disease. Yeah, I mean, they make it worse. They
Right.
exacerbate if you already have heart disease. They obviously aren't helpful. But the ones that, if you would control or eliminate diabetes, smoking, and cholesterol problems, that would be a great start.
Wow, interesting. And how can you speak a little bit about, I know that obesity is playing a big factor in all this. I mean, is there a correlation between the both? And
It's in that same category of a secondary risk. So you know, the way to help prevent diabetes and cholesterol, cholesterol and obesity is the thing that, to focus on mostly is exercise, of course.
Exercise,
and maintaining a good weight and keeping your heart strong when you're getting into a cardio type of heart rate. That it's like exercising any other muscle. It makes that heart that much healthier.
Wow.
So of course, preventing obesity is important. It's not one of those primary risk factors, but it's
one of
obviously very
those.
important.
And is it true that there's kind of like the 30-day habit? So say there's somebody who's trying to get into that, like, is there a time frame or something you can suggest to getting into a good health regimen, a good exercise regimen for something along those terms?
Nothing, I don't have any specific recommendations there, but obviously you have to find something you love to do. I do a lot of walking and hiking. Other people prefer swimming. If you find some passion that you have in the exercise world, I think that's the great place to start, or to get a good personal trainer like the one we're going to meet later.
Right.
So how do you control the cholesterol, you say, with eating?
Well,
what are some good things to help?
Right,
keep
so you
cholesterol
want to
down?
avoid the fats, the saturated fats, the trans fats. You want to have a nice high fiber diet, lots of fish, fruits, vegetables, soy, eating well.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to mention is, everybody thinks about chest pain as the primary symptom of heart disease or impending heart attack, but for women it can be very different, and if women rely on that, they're going to be suffering. That's why mortality rate in women is higher, because they tend to ignore the atypical symptoms that women do get. For example, instead of having mostly chest pain and going down the left arm, it can be neck pain, it can be jaw pain or back pain, it could be something like just some GI distress like heartburn, or an upset stomach can be actually a symptom of a heart attack. It can be sweating, it can be shortness of breath. So unlike men, who typically it's chest pain going down the left arm, that is not so for women.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting. So the Hollywood heart attack. Oh gosh, it's the big one, Elizabeth. that's not the answer for women.
Not for women.
No.
We just have to be more in tune with
Right,
our
don't
body.
ignore that, because some women do get that, so I
Right.
want to say that that's not it.
Yeah, right.
There are so many more symptoms that women can have that they don't know about.
Oh,
Wow,
that's-
interesting.
And so you think that's the reason why it's the
That's
number
one of the
killer.
reasons why, is that we don't think to go call 911 and go to the emergency room, and doctors don't think that a woman coming in with, heartburn, that, one of the prime things to think about would be a heart attack. They're focusing on the more common things, which of course is, you had a spicy dinner or something.
Oh my
Of
goodness.
course. Oh, when
Right.
it comes to cooking, blame the woman.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. What else is something that's specific to women and their health?
Other than heart disease?
Yes.
All right, well, another thing that I know you were wanting to talk about is osteoporosis.
Yes.
Right.
So that, again, is not specific to women, because there are men at risk, but their risk factors are different, their age of risk is different. Osteoporosis is weak or brittle bones, and we all, as we go past menopause or into the later years after 50, 55, when our estrogen levels drop, we slowly lose bone, because estrogen is very important in building bone. And so when we lose estrogen, the little cells that chew up bone win out over the building cells of bone. Okay?
Yes.
And so the things to do to prevent osteoporosis, there's some biggies. One is exercise again, but it would be, unlike cardio exercise, it's weight-bearing exercise.
Yeah, it's bone density.
Or it's resistance. So walking is great, and running, of course, is great, but swimming wouldn't be really helpful for the bones, although it's fabulous for the heart.
Right.
Same with resistance training. Muscle building and resistance training is great. Eating enough calcium, or supplementing with enough calcium, depending on the age, is really important. The quantity would depend on the age.
Yes.
Vitamin D,
Yes.
and then there's the whole controversial issue of estrogen, but estrogen really does, the one thing there's no question about is help prevent osteoporosis.
Wow.
And how often should women be tested?
Well, if there's no risk factors, and we can talk about that in a second, the National Osteoporosis Foundation recommends starting the first bone density at age 65.
Wow.
Because it takes a while. I mean, up until 50 to the average age of menopause in this country is about 51 and a half, so you're not going to develop osteoporosis at 52. It takes a while to lose enough bone to develop osteoporosis. It's really fractures that we want to prevent. It's not some random number on a bone density test. It's when does that number get to where the risk of fracture is high enough that we really want to start taking medication or something. So till then, you want to prevent it by doing what we just talked about, and then if you get to the level where it's osteoporosis, then the medicines that we have available are really excellent at preventing fractures, which is the key.
So at 65, is that why women start to shrink?
Yes, vertebral fractures. Yeah,
Yeah.
men too.
Okay.
Yeah, for men it's 70. The
Hey, we don't
foundation.
talk about shrinkage with men, okay?
They shrink in other ways. But for men, just so if you have spouses and dads out there, it's age 70 is recommended the first bone density test, or DEXA. For women, it's 65, unless you're on steroids, which can deplete bone density, unless you're a big-time smoker, unless you have a strong family history. There's some other uncommon one, parathyroid disease, uncommon things. But for the average healthy woman, it's age 65.
Wow.
But in the meantime, to prevent it, exercise is the key.
Exercise and, well, in equal parts. Exercise, calcium, 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams daily once you've passed menopause, or in menopause, and about 1,000 units of vitamin D.
But see, when
daily.
you say in menopause, because there's such things as early menopause. I had menopause when I was 37.
Right, so the definition of menopause is 1 year without a period. So you don't know you're in it till you're in it. You know, you don't know. I mean, you could go 3 months and think you're there, but if you get a period, you're not. But once you've gone 1 year without a period, that's menopause, and then you're in menopause for the rest of your life.
Okay.
And since you're going there, what
Where did I go?
what specific things do we know of what we're talking about menopause, and we're talking about getting older? Talk about the tests that women need to take on a regular basis. We get conflicting information all the time.
So we've gotten smarter. I've been doing this for 30 years now.
Wow.
And we do screening tests for women differently than we did when I was an intern 30 years ago. So for pap smears, for example, we know that abnormal pap smear cervical cancer is a sexually transmitted disease. It's caused by HPV, the human papillomavirus. And so now that we know that, it's amazing that Dr. Papanicolaou, in I forget what decade, in the early 1900s, developed this fabulous test for cervical cancer. But since they didn't know what was causing it, it made sense to test yearly. They made up that random number. But now it doesn't make sense anymore, because now when we do a pap smear, we do at Kaiser, an HPV test also. And if you don't have HPV, your chance of getting cervical cancer is close to 0. Okay.
Wow.
So if you do a pap, but we wouldn't say never come back, of course, that would be silly. So pap smear with an HPV, if they are both negative and you're over 30, you don't need another pap smear for 5 years.
Wow.
So we started at age 21 because we don't want to know about HPV too soon, and we assume that most young women are exposed. Sadly, it's that epidemic.
Right.
And we stop at 65 because it takes decades, literally decades, from the time you get exposed to HPV until you get cervical cancer. So you don't want to know if you were exposed, actually. You want to know if it persists. Because exposure is so epidemic, and 90% of women clear their HPV by themselves in a year, within a year. So
Wow,
if
the
you
body normally just
takes care of it. So we don't want to do really kind of uncomfortable tests on too many women because they don't need it, because it'll resolve on its own. So if we test too much, this, you know, too much of a good thing. You know, it's not like a little is good and a lot is, and more is better. When it comes to pap smears, it's the opposite now, as long as it's with an HPV test. If in the younger women where we don't always check the HPV, it's every 3 years. Because again, you don't want to do it too much.
Right. And you know, in a sense, Doctor, I was thinking that, you know, medicine does change with the time. You're adjusting with the society, right? And now we're seeing more women having babies later in life. They're pursuing a career and things of that nature. What trends have you been seeing in regards to that with women in health?
In general, or related
in
to
general.
Babies?
No, general.
Okay, that's an unexpected question. So there is more HPV, but less cervical cancer, because we know how to prevent it, and we know how to deal with it when it's in that precancerous stage. So what we really want to do with that is find it when it's precancerous, because that's something we can prevent by taking care of it.
You are amazing, and I wish we could talk to you for an hour, because you've got so much valuable information for us. Dr. Kurz, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate everything
Thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Discover 30 years of opera in Santa Monica. Discover the Verdi Chorus.
We are off the couch and ready to start moving with personal trainer Adrienne Howell. Adrienne, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're really excited about it. Can anybody exercise?
Well, it's always recommended that you consult your physician before you start any kind of exercise program, especially if you have any physical limitations or any conditions that you have concern about, and get a clearance from them first. And then you should be ready to go. If you're just starting, and for those who don't exercise or have never exercised before, they want to start out slow and progress, gradually progress into other exercise. But otherwise, walking, we're going to talk about some cardio activities. And for those who aren't sure exactly what cardio is, it's basically any activity that's going to get your heart rate up. It's going to get your blood circulating, get your oxygen circulating throughout the body. So it can be walking, hiking, cycling, elliptical machine if you go to a gym, the treadmill, anything that's going to get you up and moving and raise your heart rate. So that's what you want to do. Today, we're going to do something that's very exciting. It's a new trend. It's called high-intensity interval training.
Yes, it sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
You can hear the excitement.
It's yes, it's a lot of fun. It's very short time segments of exercise at a very high rate, or as hard as you can at your level. And so anybody can do it. You just start low if you're just starting out. And then you take a little break, and then you go back to it. And it's usually about 4 or 5 minute time segments. You can do it in a short period of time, so it actually saves time for those who have time issues with exercise. You can do a brief segment, 20, 30 minutes if you like. And it really gets as much cardio in that little bit of time as you would in a full hour workout.
Yeah, it's like more
Right
high
on.
fat burning
Right,
too, right?
it's more,
Your
it makes
metabolism.
you stronger, it helps your metabolism, and it makes you, it creates cardio and vascular endurance.
Well,
So-
that's what we need for heart
Awesome.
disease. So let's get
Yeah,
to it.
that's
We're ready.
the most
Exactly.
We're
important
ready.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to give you different levels because there are some who are just starting, there's some who are intermediate, and there's some who have been doing it forever. So Becky, we're going to give you level 1. You want to make sure also that you start with a nice warm-up. So I'm going to warm you guys up, but Becky's going to do level 1 types of exercise, and Dina, you're going to do level 2, and Gar, you're going to jump in there and do that advanced level 3. But we're going to start with a brief warm-up, just to warm the body up. You want to walk it out, pump the arms, get the legs going. And then you want to take it into a little bit more of a jog, maybe.
Okay.
And Becky, all you're going to do is really just elevate those legs up a little bit more, pump the arms a little more.
How important is a smile in all of this?
That's not, you know, it's very funny because in my
No
classes,
frowning.
I'm always telling you, smile, it helps, and it does.
It does.
It helps.
All right.
So then you want to take it up a little bit, and what the warm-up does is it prepares your body for the exercise you're going to do.
Right.
So you want to get that blood flowing, you want to get the oxygen circulating. There we go, and then we're going to just do some down and up movements. You want to go down, squat, and circle the arms up. Down, and up. And your feet are about hip width apart. Down and lift and circle the arms. And Becky, all you're going to do is just down and here. And all you want to do is raise it up right here. And now, Becky has certain conditions where she can't lift the arms above the head. So all you're going to do is bring those elbows out to the side, shoulder level, and you're good. Good. Now we're just going to take it down. And for Gari and Dina, you're just going to do like a shoulder press lift. Down and up. You feeling warm?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And a couple more.
Okay.
And here we go. All right. So what we're going to do in our first interval is jumping jacks and mountain climbers.
Okay.
And now, Becky, level 1 jumping jacks, you do not have to jump. All you have to do is take those arms out to the side. And again, raise your arms only shoulder level. Okay. Dina, you're going to do a little bit more of a jumping jack. And again, you can either raise the arms up or just take them up shoulder level if you're in that intermediate level. And Gar, you're going to go full out.
Full on. Gary, go. Go on.
Your arms are coming up.
Up out.
There you go. And we're going to do that for 40 seconds. We're going to do a 40-second interval.
Okay.
Then we're going to take it down to a mountain climber. Ready, you
Okay.
guys?
Yes.
All right, go. 40 seconds. Here we go.
Is it 40 seconds yet?
Not yet. And that smile, like she said, is very important.
Keep it going, Becky.
And you'd be surprised. 40 seconds seems like a long time.
Yeah, it sure does
And
when
you
you're
got
doing
20
this.
seconds more. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep that smile happening. Good, and you're out to the side. Good, and those elbows are coming up. And the lower you go, the more intense you're gonna make it. How you doing, Dina?
I'm hanging in there.
10 seconds.
Woo.
10 seconds. You
gotta learn
feel
to
that
get
heart
faster.
rate coming
Oh, yeah.
up.
Feels good.
All right, ready? Now you're gonna take it down for what we call a mountain climber. Becky,
Okay.
you're gonna do a wall climber. So you're gonna come down, Gary and Dina, onto the floor in that plank position and run the knees into the chest. You're gonna go full on.
Woo!
Dina's
Yeah.
walking it in, and you're gonna do what we call a wall climber with the arms and the legs.
Adrian,
20
these-
seconds.
these
This
are
one's a
great.
little shorter. You guys are good. Bring it up. Rest. You're going to rest 15 seconds.
We're up.
All right, 15-second rest. You're going to do it again.
Okay.
This time I'm going to flip it. Jumping jacks 20.
Yes.
Mountain climber 40. Ready?
Yes.
Go. Jumping jacks 20 seconds. Good. Becky's down here. Dina's in that intermediate. And Gary's full on.
Woo!
Hands
Go,
up.
Gary.
There we go. There we go. Keep it going.
Go, Dina. Work it out. That's nice. Work it out,
5
Dina.
seconds more.
Go,
5
Becky.
seconds more. Then you're going to take it down for mountain climbers.
Here we go.
40 seconds. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Go. Take it down.
Woo!
Run it in.
Here we
Good.
go, ladies.
And those wall climbers, your knees are coming up high.
Do I burn more calories with all the fat on my body that jiggles?
You're going to burn fat overall. No worries. Keep going. You got 40s. You got 20 seconds more in that 40 seconds. You're halfway there. Good. How you doing? Keep your back nice and straight. Bring those legs out. Extend nice and long. Run it in. Run it in. Run it in. Whew. This is also a core exercise, this mountain
Are we
climber.
almost
So you're
done?
working, and your time, you're going to rest.
That was awesome.
All right, so normally, I'm not going to make you guys do it. Normally, we do that 2 more cycles.
Wow.
All right, so that would be a total of about 4 or 5 minutes. And then you do 3 or 4 more types of those combinations. That's a great cardio workout.
That's great for heart
Awesome.
disease, as the doctor said.
You feel it,
Well,
yes.
that's great. All right, now she mentioned osteoporosis, and we need weight-bearing exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so now going into resistance training. And resistance training is anything you use with weights or resistance band or tube, or your own body weight. And if
I
you're
got
just
plenty of that.
beginning, a lot of times own body weight is all you need. You don't even need added extra weight. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to show you 3 levels that you can do. We're going to start with the best resistance exercise that I know is push-ups. And it's a great, it's a core exercise, first of all. So you're working your entire core. But it's also a good overall upper body exercise. So we're going to start with level 1, Becky. And if you have a wall, there's a nice wall right back here. You're going to be in that nice plank position. Your back's going to be nice and straight. And then you're just going to go in for the push-up. And you don't have to start yet because we get these ladies situated. Dina, you're going to go down onto your knees.
On my knees.
And you're going to keep your back nice and straight. Even on your knees, you're going to tuck the hips under and come down to that nice long plank position. Excellent. And Gary, you're on your toes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we're going to do a few exercises. I'm going to have you guys start doing the push-ups. Go. All right, these are not timed. You want to do, when you're doing resistance training, maybe 10 to 15 reps and at least 2 or 3 sets. And if you're just starting out, you can start at 10 reps, maybe 2 sets, whatever you feel you can do. How you guys doing?
Okay.
The important thing about this is nice alignment from your head down to your toes, even if you're doing them on the wall, and I'm sure you're feeling them, right, Becky? Yeah, so you're getting a good workout, whether you're doing them on your knees, on your toes, or on the wall. All right, you guys at 15 yet?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Oh,
then
way
you can
up.
bring it up. We're going to do a seated row.
Okay.
And I like doing a row because it works your back muscles, your lats, which are important, and it gives you that good posture. So Becky's going to come here and do a seated row. And she's going to lean forward from the hip, and you're just going to row here and pull the arms into your side. So you want to lean forward, your back is nice and straight, pull the shoulders back, very nice. All right, Dina.
Yes.
A little more intermediate. You're going to bring one leg forward, bend that knee, lean slightly forward. I haven't gave you the weights.
Thank you.
And then you're just going to row both arms in close to your side. There you go. And for you, Gary, You're
This
going
at
to
8 pounds?
have feet about hip width apart,
Okay.
lean forward, your back is straight, nice and supported there, and you're going to row it in. Pull. Reach and pull. You want to fully extend those arms and pull in close to your side, and you want to squeeze those shoulder blades back so you're getting a nice workout in your lats, that muscle that creates that nice V shape in your back.
And it's a pretty much of a deep squat here,
It's
right?
yes. And you're leaning forward from the hip. And the important thing is to keep your knees soft,
'Kay.
especially when you're in that position, so it supports your lower back.
So you don't lock the knees, keep the knees soft.
Yes.
'Kay.
Very nice, ladies. All right. And now we're going to go on a little bit into the lower body. You can place the weights down.
Okay.
Give you a little break there. And Becky, for level 1, I'm going to have you do what's called sitting squat. And it's basically it's a functional exercise that we do every day. We sit and we stand, all right? So that's basically all we're going to do. I'm going to have you place your heels of your feet in front of each leg of the chair and just sit and stand. And this, again, is just using your own body weight. You don't even need to use weights. And Dina, you are going to use weights.
Okay. I'm the lucky
You're just
one.
not
I
going to
noticed
go
that.
as low.
Okay.
And your feet are hip width apart, toes point straight ahead,
Yes.
and you're going to squat and come up. And you don't have to do a deep squat. That's fine as long as your back stays straight, your chest is lifted. Good. And Gary, I'm assuming you're going to go a little bit deeper.
All right.
You can even hold the weights at your shoulder
'Kay.
and take it down and lift. And you don't need to go past 90 degrees,
Okay.
but you can form a nice 90-degree angle there. Your knee behind your toe,
Right.
over your ankle. Your back is straight, chest is lifted, and that's beautiful. Nice job, you guys.
As we finish these exercises and we continue doing this, everyone can do these exercises at home. Like the doctor said, cardio to help prevent heart disease and weight-bearing exercises to help with osteoporosis. A full body workout can be done at home every single day. And we, with Adrian, obviously showed you that you can do it at home. And it's not that hard as I'm trying to catch my breath. So we would like to thank Adrian for joining us today. This is a fantastic way to end this episode. Thank you for joining us,
You're so
Adrian.
Thank you,
welcome. Thank you
Adrian.
for having me.